don't know about you guys, but I love the season of spring. And it's interesting because this is the only time of year where 60 degrees will feel really warm, especially for us who live up on the northern side of things. You know, once you get into summertime and you're used to those, 80, 90 degree days, and then it kind of dips down below 70, it kind of feels chilly. But as of right now, if it hits 60 degrees and the sun is out, it feels amazing. It feels warm outside, and it's all relative. But I love that time of year because everything is thawing out and you can really start getting outside and really enjoying the weather. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Another thing that I love about it is then I can start reaching for my late spring, early summer style of scents, which are adding in a lot more freshness to my wardrobe. And I can kind of start tucking away my heavy, sweet tobacco style scents in favor for something that is going to be more invigorating overall. So today what I'm going to be going over is 10 perfect 10 out of 10 spring fragrances that, in my opinion, you should definitely look into if you want some things that really represent this time of year and ultimately will just suit you very well for this season. I will provide some links down below if you want to check any of these out or pick any of these up. Going through discounters will be the best way for you to save the most amount of money. I also have a mailing list you can subscribe to if you're looking for any sort of rare, discontinued, or hard to find scents. If you get on that mailing list, anytime something like that comes into stock, I send an email out, and that way you can be getting your first chance to really get those before everyone else does, and inevitably it will sell out. Let's get things kicked off with Davidoff Cool Water Parfum. So we are in the age of the parfums. I'm sure you guys have noticed that already. This one came out a couple years ago. It's not brand new, but it still is a really solid flanker. And I would take this over the Eau de Parfum and the Eau de Toilette any day of the week. Now this one has lemon, vetiver. There's some pink pepper in here. Fantastic. It's a little bit more refined, a little bit more of a well put together scent overall. It's not quite as just green and fresh as the Eau de Toilette. There's some more substance going on, a little bit more of a heavy base, which makes this one perfect for the season of spring when you have those temperature swings where it starts off in the morning as 45 degrees and you end the day at 65, right? That's a pretty big swing, especially when you're trying to coordinate a scent. This one will hold up to that perfectly. Next up, we have L'Homme Le Parfum by Yves Saint Laurent. I've talked about this one a lot here on the channel. It's one that ultimately has become one of my favorites, and I never expected it to be. So the best way to describe this one is it's kind of a combination of YSL Eau de Parfum, Eau de Toilette, Le Parfum, whatever, meets the original YSL L'Homme. So it still does have some of that L'Homme DNA. I would hope it to be, considering it is a flanker of that. But then it's got some of the amberwood, kind of apple, fruity sweetness of something like YSL, and it's obviously taking a page out of that book, especially considering it's from the same brand. It only makes sense, and I think it's a really good crossover that a lot of people would appreciate, maybe more than you would think. I didn't know it was going to be like that when I got this one in, but after I smelled it several times, I've worn it multiple times, and I've talked about it a ton. Each time I smell this one, it grows on me more. I really like that combination. It's the perfect mixture of kind of young and youthful and just versatile meets something that is a little bit more mature and sophisticated. It's a great scent that's perfect for springtime. Next up, we have Versace Eros Eau de Parfum. So this one has all of your typical Eros notes. You've got your tonka, your mint, your amber, most importantly, your red candy apple here in this one. So why the Eau de Parfum over something like my favorite Parfum, for example? I think for spring, this one's got a little bit more of the aromatics going on and more of the citrus fruitiness going on to make it more suitable for springtime. I mean, you guys have seen my thoughts on the Eros lineup, in which my favorite is, and it is the Parfum. That is the one that I would choose most times when I'm looking to wear Eros, but generally that's also going to be in the winter time, and that will be my number one pick from the Eros line in winter. It is the Parfum. That being said, I think for spring, when the weather is a little bit more mild, the eau de parfum just may be a better choice, or even the eau de toilette. That being said, between those two, this one does tend to perform better. It is just a nice refresh on this DNA. Ultimately, it's EROS. You can't go wrong with it. Love it or hate it. This type of thing works. It's going to be around forever. People are always going to be wearing this. And if you want to jump in and get in on some of that action and, you know, just soak up the compliments and have something that is very versatile, great performance, this is one of them. Let's keep it moving with YSL Les Parfums. So kind of speak of the devil here. We were just talking about this one a little bit with L'Homme Les Parfums. Similar deal. It's all about the geranium, the lavender, the sage, the amberwood, and the aldehydes, all of that good stuff. The apple, if I didn't say it already. You guys know the DNA, okay? Now, you know, it to me isn't fully redundant to own something like this and then to own Les Parfums, because they do serve different purposes. They do ultimately accomplish different things. And I think if you are of the younger crowd, this would probably be the option that you would be going for more. If you're someone who wants to be taken a little bit more seriously, if you want something that is going to be a little bit more mature and refined, L'Homme Les Parfums would kind of be that solution for you, because not everybody likes this. You know, it is playful, it is younger, it is really kind of appeasing to the crowd that is raving on about the blue style of scents. This, compared to Y Eau de Parfum and Eau de Toilette, is much more sophisticated, but it also isn't straying away from the DNA as much as Y Eau de Parfum Intense, their newest flanker. I love Y Eau de Parfum Intense. That also could have been in this video. Fact of the matter is, any of the Y scents could have been in this video. It's ultimately going to be up to whoever is choosing to wear them. You got to pick your favorite, and it's up to me to provide you with alternatives. This is the one I chose for this video. It would be a fantastic fit for the springtime. Up next, we're going to go with the one and only niche product. Kind of looking at this bottle here, I don't know what happened to it. It has seen better days, but I love this stuff. It's got a nice seasoned layer of dust on the top. We're missing the emblem on the front. You'll see what it is. It's AMOUAGE Reflection Man, yes. So you guys may know there's usually an AMOUAGE logo right there. I don't know what happened to that. It's kind of bizarre. There is some dust on the top of it. This bottle is old. I generally don't dust them. I have too many of them. And it's also a tester, so it has this nice ugly writing on the back. Tester, not for resale. And then a batch code of sorts on the bottom. Maybe it doesn't show up that well to you on camera, but in real life it sticks out like a sore thumb, and you could see it from the front of the bottle. So, you know, tester does come with a cap. Not a bad way to go, but if you're really picky about your presentation, you might want to pass on the testers. That being said, this is one of my all-time favorites from AMOUAGE, and I have all of the big ones, okay? I've got the Interlude, I've got the Jubilation, I've got all of them pretty much. Beach Hut Man, you name it. All of the big hyped up ones, I have them. They're all very good, worthy of the hype. But again, one of my favorites is Reflection Man. Now, in a perfect world, if you have some extra money laying around and you want my opinion, get Reflection Man 45 Extrait. Okay, I have it. I love it as well. It would be the one that I would choose because the performance is crazy. However, again, it's a bit more expensive. It retails for $500. Wouldn't recommend you pay that. Wait it out. Get it on discounters. I will send out an email to my mailing list once it does become available on discounters, so you can get it then. That's the perfect world scenario. That being said, just the original here is a great way to go as well. This one's got jasmine, neroli. There's some sandalwood in here. It is a fantastic men's floral scent that smells like $1 million. I mean, literally, this stuff is so elegant, so expensive smelling. And when you're talking the original, it isn't a ton of money. You can get it well under $200 on discounters for 100 milliliters. And for what it's worth, the original performs fine. It's nowhere near the complete beast of the, Extrait. But for what it is, it more than gets the job done. It is a great springtime scent that smells just above the rest in terms of quality and status and things of that nature. Fantastic. And if you're looking to pick up something from AMOUAGE, personally, I would start here. This is amazing. I love this stuff. Next up, we have AFNAN 9 AM Dive. So this is their newest release, and I think it came out this year, actually. I've already done a video on it, but it's got some mint, apple, patchouli, and incense in here. Interesting, because you're going to start automatically drawing some comparisons based off of that note breakdown. You might see the incense, and you might think of a Bleu de Chanel. You might see the apple. Maybe you'll think of a Eau de Parfum, maybe even an EROS. You'll see some patchouli. Maybe you're thinking of a Dylan Blue or an Acqua di Gio Profumo. Very interesting, and I gotta say, very strategic from the brand to feature all of those kind of flagship notes when you're talking about blue scents. I mean, when you go over into the sweet side, incense is everywhere. When you go over to just general aquatics, you know, apple and fruits are everywhere. But when you label it with a blue bottle and you're kind of seeming like you're targeting the blue scents and you start featuring those, you're automatically going to get people talking, and people are going to be drawing conclusions based off of those particular notes. I can tell you that it isn't really like any of those things all together. Yeah, there's a bit of Bleu de Chanel. Maybe there's a bit of a Eau de Parfum, Dylan Blue sweetness. Maybe there's just a little bit of that blue fragrance thing going on, right? But it isn't close enough to anything to call it a clone of any one particular thing, if that makes sense. Ultimately, this is versatile to the extreme. I mean, it is a compliment getter to no other. It's an Eau de Parfum concentration, respectable performance out of this one. It's affordable, $40, $50. This is AFNAN's take on a blue scent, and for what it's worth, surprisingly enough, coming from a clone brand, it's kind of an original take on that blue scent. Again, it's taking a bunch of things and lumping them together. I guess maybe that's not super original, but that is what a lot of designer brands do with the blue fragrance DNA. But it's not like 9 PM where they're blatantly cloning Ultra Male. This kind of is just taking a bunch of things and lumping them together. I mean, you just really can't go wrong with this. Next up, Jimmy Choo Man Ice. Simply put, this is Dior Homme Cologne, but a little bit sweeter and significantly more affordable. Less than half the price. And so I think Dior Homme Cologne is just a summer scent by every stretch of the term. I mean, you cannot go wrong with that. Did you see the atomizer on this? Nice pressurized one. However, I think this is actually a little bit more suited for springtime, given that sweetness, the woods, and the added depth, believe it or not, that the Jimmy Choo has over the Dior. Perfect for springtime. It's very vibrant, it's uplifting, it smells great. Let's keep it moving with Acqua di Gio ABSOLU. So this is kind of one of the more controversial Acqua di Gio flankers. It's got woody notes, sea notes, some tonka beans, some amber wood. Pretty vague note breakdown. Like, they don't go into a whole lot of depth with this one, but if I had to describe it one way, I would kind of say it's that Invictus Aqua style, that Invictus Aqua DNA, but with the signature Acqua di Gio aquatic note instead, in replacement of some of the aquatic feel from Invictus Aqua, is how I would describe this one. So it's got that sweetness, but then still the freshness and the citrus notes and all of that sort of thing. So it's kind of fitting into that category. Ultimately, you do have something that is very versatile, has great performance, a decent price on discounters, and ultimately, it's just a nice wearable piece that you can wear for pretty much anything in the springtime. Second to last, we have PRADA Luna Rossa Carbon. So this is the smooth Dior Sauvage. This is kind of how I think of it. I mean, the note breakdown, no surprise. It's going to have ambroxan, metallic notes. There's coal in here as well. There's bergamot. There's some pepper. I mean, it's Sauvage, but a significantly more smooth take on Sauvage. And you might notice I tend to kind of enjoy this. Yeah, that bottle is running down to the wire, to the point where I don't even want to spray it up in the air just to waste a spray to smell it, because, you know, it's getting low. And this is also an older bottle. Not that that means a ton, but, you know, I like my vintage bottles. This one's gotten significantly more expensive. Let's all get together and reminisce when this was cheap Sauvage. There was a point, believe it or not, where you could get a 100 milliliter bottle of this on discounters for $50. That sounds crazy. You will never see it for that price these days. But comment down below if you remember when this was going for around $50 for 100 mil on discounters. It is crazy. I do not know what happened, but it's just not there anymore. It's $90, $95  100 mil. It's absurd. I don't know what happened. That being said, I still love it. I think it's great. I love Sauvage, but I also love this for its own particular reasons. It's just nostalgic, it's smooth, it's sexy, and it's perfect for springtime. You gotta have a bottle of this around. Last up for this one, we have Chanel Allure Homme Sport. Not Eau Extreme, however, Eau Extreme would be a perfect fit for this video. For me though, I love the original Allure Homme Sport as well. It's got aldehydes, tonka, a couple different types of orange. There's some C notes in here as well. I love it. This DNA is drop dead gorgeous. You know, if you smelled Versace Pour Homme, then you have Chanel to thank, because this was a 2004 release, Versace Pour Homme 2008. There was a pretty big gap before Versace tried to release something that smelled strikingly similar, but this is what started it all. This, again, 2004, doesn't smell like it. It smells like it could have been released this year and it would still go over really well. There's nothing dated about this at all. It's modern, it's classy, it's ultra versatile, it's refreshing, and I mean, in terms of this one here in particular, the quality is amazing. It smells like a premium scent. It wears like one as well, and it's great for springtime. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 perfect 10 out of 10 spring scents that you can be wearing in this season. If you want to pick any of these up, again, I will link them down below. Let me know your favorites from this list or just in general down below as well. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.